Hey everybody, and welcome back to the official Remy K. Thane channel on a segment that we're calling Kink of the Hill. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about articles and news and anything involving the world of BDSM and kink, whether it's positive or negative. And unfortunately, this first one I'm doing is a mix of both. And that is the outing of Kristi Noem's husband for his bimbofication fetish. Now, before I begin, I will say that when it comes to the world of alternative lifestyles, one may think that it is inundated with people who are progressive or lefty or anything that's center left or just on that way. But it is filled with many people who are also center or right or Republican or conservative, which we're going to show you are many of whom are in the closet about their own orientation and sexuality, among many other things. So this is not a surprise for someone like me and people in my community who have been here long enough to know better. So for this article, what we're going to do is that we're going to read from thetimes.com. We're going to go paragraph by paragraph, and I'm going to react to it as we move along. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys learn a thing or two from it. The title goes, Models paid $25 a minute to talk dirty with Kristi Noem's cross-dressing husband. Quote, Lydia Love, a webcam model for the chat site Cam Soda, tells the Times that Noem's husband likes to perform for her during intimate video sessions. I mean, that's pretty normal for like Cam Soda sites. Excuse Cam Soda. Cam sites like Cam Soda. This was written by Josie Ensor, chief U.S. reporter. This was posted Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 at 10:25 p.m. All right, so here we go. When a scandalous set of photographs purporting to show the former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's husbands were published online, the webcam model Lydia Love recognized him instantly. I definitely remember his face, but there's no way I could ever forget the fake boobs. Love, who uses a stage name, told of course she uses a stage name, the Times of her online interactions with Bryon Noem. Earlier this week, the Daily Mail published photos of Bryon, Kristi's husband of 34 years, seemingly wearing a large pair of fake breasts under a tight top and a pair of hot pants. The website claimed that Bryon had chatted online with women who are part of a bimbofication scene, a role-playing kink centered around exaggerated hypersexual femininity. That is a great way to put it. Bimbofication is part of like dollification. It's part of feminization. It's basically plays a role in a very specific like kink, basically. And obviously, bimbofication is not just gendered towards men. It can be for women as well, and anyone of any orientation and identity. It's a type of physical change that you put a person through. As we all know, bimbos, we've heard that phrase before. It's been used throughout history, not in a very good way. And you get the idea from the connotation of it. I want to keep reading so I don't have to go through this orientation talking about what bimbofication is and all that. All right, the photograph sent a shockwave around Washington coming weeks after the firing of Kristi as Homeland Security Chief. Little violin. Can you hear it? I can't. President Trump even addressed the Führer. Führer? I can't say that word right without it sounding like Führer, you know? On Wednesday, telling reporters, I don't know anything about it. That's too bad, but I just know nothing about it. Sure you don't. You know what? You know, this is my reaction. Sure you don't, buddy. Or, I don't know, your dementia setting in, so maybe you actually did forget. Security experts suggested the existence of such photographs could have made his wife subject to potential blackmail threats. It's astounding that somebody whose spouse is at that level that has that kind of bad judgment. Jack Barsky, a U.S. counterintelligence expert, said. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So for those who are unaware, like one of the many hats I wear is a personal trainer. And one of the things I did at my old job at an old city, which I'm not going to talk about, was train someone who had top secret level information, and he was telling me the process to which he could be spoken to about it, and that was that if you have anything you could be blackmailed for at all, you basically couldn't get in. And, you know, anything with debt, anything with like family or friends that have anything on you, anything like that could be exploited by another country or person, just you were lucky if you were even given a second chance after that. So the fact that this photo was floating around somewhere and that the government didn't know about it and then it got leaked after, like, a huge security gap in this. So that's crazy. But as we know, this administration isn't exactly hiring the smartest of people. So that all makes sense. Bryon Noem denied that his alleged activities put his wife at risk for blackmail in a statement to the Mail. That's wishful thinking. The saga also raised questions over the ethics of publishing personal photographs of a private citizen. I agree with that. I'm really big on keeping clients' information private, but he's already been exposed, and it's a hypocrisy of their politics. Love 28 said on Wednesday of the Trump administration official and her Republican husband. Yeah. Ethically, you never out anyone for whatever kink or just whatever they like, in BDSM. That's the one thing you don't do. Like, even if your friend's on the inside of a dungeon, if you see them on the outside, you don't acknowledge each other because people have lives, people have families, people have very sensitive jobs. It's not something you're supposed to do. You don't out anybody. So ethically, I don't like it. That's not nice. Morally speaking, fuck these people, and everything they're about, because they are the worst hypocrites of all time. And I completely agree with Love on this one. Anyways, I always agree with Love. Love is amazing. That was a pun if no one got that. As the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem was a prominent proponent of legislation restricting transgender rights, including bans on transgender girls taking part in school sports and on gender-affirming care for minors. She signed the the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which advocates claimed sanctioned discrimination against queer people. Yeah! And that's the part that comes in. These people are horrible piece of shit hypocrites who can't mind their own business. And because they cannot mind their own business, they make their business everyone else's business, or everyone else's business their business. Telling people what to do and how to live their lives and what they can do to make themselves happy or not happy, and just fucking take that away from them. So I don't feel bad for these people. No, they're all terrible human beings. Like, how does a transgender person in a sport, like, take away anything from anybody? Like, I remember the statistic. I believe there was I think in South Dakota, there's like 2 transgender athletes, I believe. You can count them on one hand out of the entire state. So the fact that they're taking away just an activity that most kids who, when they were polled by other people, like actual pollsters, they didn't care. They actually were okay with it. It's these overzealous, hypocritical, in the closet adults with power who basically want to take candy away from babies. That's how terrible they are. And they literally are. They are literally also taking babies away from parents. They are allowing people to die in camps. These are the type of people that create these acts, who hide in the closet. Not just that. They are able to hide in the closet with their ethical sex workers that they work with, who don't out them, because that is one of our rules. We just don't do that. It's not right. But they get the luxury of hiding behind that while they take away everyone else's right to basically do the same publicly, or at least in a way that gives them happiness and freedom to be who they really are. And from my understanding of Kristi Noem's husband, he said some things that were pretty pro-trans and things like that, of his own need to be who he really is inside. I think that was a different article though, but let's continue. Love, who is a performer in what is known online as femdom, or female domination, there's other ways to say that too, alleged that Byron, 56, would perform for her on the website Camp Soda, where she said he liked to play a submissive role. He would try to talk more feminine. His kink was yoga pants, she said. He wanted to be the star of the show and really show off. I would hype him up. In any other context, this would be fucking adorable. But in the context of this, it is hypocritical and messed up. in my experience, a lot of people, and this is obviously this is not everybody, but this is most people. I've noticed. This is something I've noticed. My colleagues in the scene have noticed. My sensei and like my betters who have noticed as well, is like people in the scene. For those who call themselves doms and masters and tops or whatever, a lot of the times they don't have the luxury of being in control of their own life. They don't get to tell, they get told what to do all the time. They're in submissive roles in their regular vanilla life. And so the only way for them to feel dominant whatsoever or to have any kind of control is to do it in the kink scene. So when they come into the kink scene, that's how they identify. And that's how they try to be. Now, obviously, a lot of them are unethical and assholes and they're fake. And, you know, that's honestly comes with the territory, unfortunately. When it comes to submissives, a lot of time it's the opposite, where like in their vanilla life, they have to choose all the time. They have to tell people what to do all the time. They have to make decisions all the time. They get fatigued from decisions all the time. So what they do in the kink scene when they get into it is that they want to be submissive. They want someone else to take the reins. They want someone else to take care of them. They want someone else to be able to make the decisions for them because they're just too tired and they need that safe space to just relax and melt and be who they are. And so a lot of times you'll find that a lot of submissives happen to be men, women, and non-binary in positions of power. I've had the same. Like when I had clients formerly who were like lawyers and doctors and shit. It's pretty normal. The only reason why I'm a dominant is because I have freaking control issues. I cannot let anyone else run my life. Also, I'm a punk, or I try to be punk, philosophically speaking. But that's a whole like another like history about me. I'm not going to get into it because we're talking about Kristi Noem's husband over here. Love described Noem as an extremely needy client, needing a lot of praise and feedback. He would really guide the show rather than let me do my femdom thing for him. Oh my god, I've had that. I've had just really needy clients who like they want you to like take over and be in control, but at the same time they're so specific and they won't like they're so anxious that they don't let you like control the tempo of the scene to what they agreed to that you like made for them in your own brain and you want to execute. Totally normal. That's pretty normal. She specifically remembered the fake breasts he wore during their webcam encounters. I've never seen another client have them, she said. Ever. Lev said they connected on the site. Noem, who manages an insurance agency in South Dakota, was said to pay women up to $25 a minute to talk dirty with him. Yeah. God, I got to up my prices. Jesus. If you've got the money, ball out. Like, in the case of, like, making money, like, you get whales sometimes, and he was definitely a whale. And there are definitely other websites you can use if you're looking into that type of work or trying to find sex workers that would, work with you in that regard. So I'm not going to name them because one of them denied me, even though I am like way better than the male like people they have on there, just because like my Instagram wasn't that big yet. But like I'm big in my community. God damn it, I'm famous at the bar I'm at. He said he was married, but didn't say anything notable about his wife, but I shut that down. I didn't want to talk about it, Lev said. We mainly chatted in small talk. He said he would say today wasn't the best, but I'm excited for right now. See? Safe space. Safe space. I believe everyone deserves a safe space. I don't believe anyone who takes away other people's spaces in living deserves a safe space, but generally speaking, everyone deserves one. Love claimed Noem paid for her webcam services between 10 and 50 times over an 18-month or to 2-year period. The last time was about 6 months ago, and that I didn't hear from him again, she said. I wonder what had happened to him, but clients come and go. Absolutely true. Clients come and go. Yeah, that's just how shit. That's the life of, like, sex work. She said she never judged her clients' preferences, but saw hypocrisy in a conservative Christian father of 3 who was married to a Trump official, allegedly engaged in such behavior when the administration promotes, quote, certain values. The Noems were contacted for comment. Trump removed Noem, who was charged with carrying out his sweeping anti-immigration operation, from a position earlier this month after a pair of disastrous congressional hearings, including fumbling a question about whether she was having an affair with her married senior aide, Corey Lewandowski. Bryon Noem sat behind his wife as she was grilled by lawmakers in early March. Noem, who was subsequently reassigned as special envoy to the Shield of the Americas, addressed the photo in a statement released on Tuesday, saying she was, quote, devastated. A spokesman added the family was blindsided by this and asked for privacy and prayers at the time. All right, that is the end of the article. The article I read, remember hearing about, that talked about what he said in terms of a specific speech he had with his worker that I was working with. I will try to find that and add it. So I'm going to cut it here and try to find that article for you guys. And I finally found it, I believe. This is an article by The Advocate. It is written by Christopher Wiggins, posted April 10th. I'm going to get straight to the paragraphs that say what, just show more of the hypocrisy of this whole situation. The latest report published Friday by the Daily Mail claims Bryon Noem told an online fetish performer in audio recordings that he discussed fantasies about hormone therapy and feminizing surgery. According to the paper, he wanted to eventually live publicly as a woman named Crystal. The tabloid says it's obtained recordings, voicemails, and messages allegedly exchanged over the years between Bryon Noem, I totally said that wrong, and Shai Sotomayor, a dominatrix and fetish model who says she had a long-running online relationship with him. We don't really use the term dominatrix anymore. I know some of my dominatrix friends don't care for the term. Just in terms of, like, if people use femdom, dom, or dominatrix, I know some people get offended by it. So it varies between person and person. But it is a very old term. Yeah, so more the hypocrisy. They're taking away transgender rights. They're taking away queer rights for people who want to present themselves in a way that is their true selves publicly and be who they are and be their happiest self. And this motherfucker is a part of a political group, a political, oh my God, just in politics of people who are so far in the closet that basically it looks like the behind the scenes of Monsters Inc. You know, all those doors with all those closets. That's where they live at. So, you know, again, ethically, I feel bad. You know, no one should be publicly humiliated in that way unless they agreed to it. You nasty freaks. But also, morally speaking, fuck this dude. Fuck everybody who is ruining other people's lives and taking away their literally taking away their lives. People have died because of this. And they continue to be this way despite public opinion about transgender rights and women's rights and gay rights, just the rights of everybody, where more people are on the left of this and more progressive on it than the small few who get into positions of power, which is really pathetic and sad about this state of how this country is run and who it's run by. Yeah, sad. Ooh, here we go. I like this part. It is important to distinguish at the outset that transgender identity and sexual fetish behavior are not the same thing. They are not. Medical experts and LGBTQ plus advocates have long emphasized that being transgender is about a person's deeply held gender identity, while fetishistic cross-dressing or feminization fantasies are separate behaviors that do not on their own indicate that someone is transgender. Totally, completely true and correct. I can't say that better than anybody else. Yeah, that's it. Like that's perfectly said. There's nothing more to say to that. Let's see. The Daily Mail also reports that in the alleged exchanges, Sotomayor repeatedly insulted Kristi Noem and criticized her immigration policies, including ICE operations carried out during her tenure at Homeland Security. Not to mention she shot a dog in her book. That's a true story. In one exchange published by the tabloid, Sotomayor tells Bryon Noem that there is no, quote, no female compared to me, especially your wife, while in another, she attacks Kristi Noem over everything she's done. Bryon Noem sat behind his wife in congressional hearings in support of her testimony as recently as March. Yeah, that seems, that's legit. the advocate has not independently verified the authenticity of the recordings or the message. So this is really important. The Daily Mail is a tabloid journal. It is also the place where a lot of people, people in power, people in politics, who throw out leaks and things like that when they want to humiliate someone that they have that either they no longer have use of or they just want to do it. And respectably, most other like news outlets, they don't take things like that, but the Daily Mail definitely will. So, and because they don't they don't verify everything. However, the cool part about this is that the advocate does say that they have not verified this stuff, the authenticity of recordings and messages. This is just like hearsay, basically. Like, this person is claiming there has been no evidence that this is the case, but they say they have it, and the Daily Mail did have all those photos, so they might actually have this too. So it's kind of crazy. Let's see. The news claims to build on earlier Daily Mail reports alleging Bryon Noem exchanged explicit messages under an alias, sent money to women in a fetish community, and shared photos of himself in feminine clothing. Pretty normal. A lot of people do that. A lot of guys do that. Does it make them transgender? Does it make them... It's more like role play at that point for a lot of these folks. They will identify as straight white males all the time. Now, could it be that they're so deep in the closet they can't even recognize that there's a woman inside them that's been there for so long and they're just like pushing it behind? Maybe, you know. But for the most part, very different. Let's see. For many observers, the issue is not the alleged behavior itself. Of course it isn't. It is the hypocrisy now casting an even brighter spotlight on one of the Republican Party's most polarizing former officials. Yeah. This is just saying the same things as the other articles. I like this part right here. Cross-dressing is not inherently queer or transgender. I like that. Medical and advocacy groups distinguish gender expression from gender identity, meaning a person may cross-dress while identifying as cisgender and heterosexual. Absolutely, positively true. All right. That has been the article. That has been the news on Kink of the Hill. Let's summarize all this stuff. Basically, when a political person hates and tries to take away rights from other people, and especially religious people, they often are in the closet of it. How many times are we going to hear about Republicans who are super anti-gay and queer and all that stuff, and yet every time they have a convention, Grindr blows up? Is it, like, let's say that happens again, is it right for all these Grindr people to, expose the politics of the political identities of the people that they meet? Ethically, no, it's not. Morally, though, I think, yeah. Like, these people are literally killing other people because of their politics. They don't deserve any patience, any sense of leniency. They're not doing it for us. They're not doing it for other people. So why should we do it for them? Because we're better than them? No. I hate that stuff. It reminds me of that quote, when you tolerate the intolerant, all you're creating is more intolerance. So this person's a complete hypocrite. I'm glad they got humiliated. They deserve all this crap. I feel bad for the kids, but they're also raising their kids to be probably anti-transgender, probably anti-queer, probably anti-all this stuff. And there's no way that Kristi Noem did not know about this. You are not the wife of someone or partner of someone for over 35 years and not know full well how much they're spending on other people and websites and things. That credit card has a record. And, where is he putting his fake boobs and all his, clothing? Unless he's wearing his wife's clothing, which is also another thing. I'm going to speculate that she knew. She absolutely knew. And this is coming out because of some revenge thing on her and her family from the administration, because that's messed up. Yeah. Well, hopefully when I come back with other news, it'll be good news. Yeah, man, this is all messed up. Also, live your best life. Just be honest about it. Like, when you have to hide things, that's something you have to be afraid of. So, live honestly. It's less work. It's so much less work to live honestly. It's so much less pain and anguish and hiding. Like, just be honest. Be honest with your partner. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with the public society. Your private life is your private life, obviously. But if you're gonna get into politics, you might want to get ahead of certain things. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you got something out of this. I will see you on the next Kink of the Hill.